Hi everyone, hope all is well. And yeah, just first and foremost, this presentation won't be anywhere near as interesting as the last one. So I guess a bit about myself. I'm from Ireland, not the UK. Um, working in recruitment in Web3 for the last 4.5 years. And yeah, work with everything from exchanges, market makers, layer ones, Bitcoin DeFi projects. So thoroughly enjoy it, love it, and yeah, like most people working in this space, little bit obsessed about what I do. But just this presentation will be more so geared towards people looking to join the industry and general networking and a few tips and tricks on how to create the perfect resume and how to perform in interviews as well. So I guess, if there's two pieces of advice to give you in terms of getting into Web3, I would guesstimate that 80–90% of jobs in the industry are filled via word of mouth. So just with that, understand that you're your best recruiter and your network is your net worth. And if there's nothing to learn from this presentation, just take these 2 points at hand. It's very much a global village still in Web3, and it's a globally distributed industry, and word of mouth counts for an awful lot. So ultimately, why work in Web3? I guess there is it's exciting. There's a sense of prosperity. It's very credentials agnostic. So there's a great sense of meritocracy, a lot of autonomy, which is great. It's a remote first, globally distributed industry, a lot of growth opportunities. People get the opportunities to completely reinvent themselves, which is absolutely amazing. There's a sense of ownership as well. So a lot of, so again, I've previously hired people that have done substantially well out of their vesting schedule. So incentives are aligned. I've also, on the other side, hired people that haven't even finished their first year. But anyway, and the culture is amazing too. And working in this industry, yes, it can be stressful. Yes, it can be full on. But it's fun and it's impactful. So ultimately, you need to be obsessed to join this industry. When there's a lot of green candles in the market, I'll often get a lot of messages from people saying, I want to join Web3, but they've no credentials to show it, they've done no courses, they've done nothing, so naturally a little bit dubious. So you need to be obsessed if you want to join this industry. You don't want a job in Web3, you want a purpose in Web3, and I can't emphasize that enough. And just on that point, this is a quick framework that I often use. So understand your why, because in this industry, it's great for people to reinvent themselves. Paula, our previous speaker here, was a developer and now is a marketing specialist, an amazing one at that. And I've also seen developers turn marketers, and it's a great opportunity to completely reinvent yourself in a professional capacity. So and ultimately blockchain, we're on the cusp of blockchain transforming every industry as well. So understand what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and most importantly, what you can get paid for as well. So key considerations to make before joining this industry. Again, it is 24/7, 365. You need to be intrinsically motivated, I personally believe, to enjoy it and succeed in it. So how are my current skills relevant in Web3? Super important question for those looking to join the space and reinvent themselves. What skills do I need to improve upon or build on? All very basic stuff. What do I want from my new career? What are my personal values? How much do I value job security? And that is a very, very important one in this industry, because projects get hacked, they pivot, they restructure, and I would say average tenure in Web3 for a person is probably around a year. So if you want to get job security, go somewhere else. What sacrifices am I prepared to make to facilitate this change? So again, I use the word obsessed. You need to be obsessed. And work-life balance can often be a challenge, touching grass. Yeah. Am I responsive to change? A lot of multitasking. So in marketing, you could be in the trenches quite a lot, social media, writing, you name it, strategy, across all spectrums, even some DevRel work. And am I prepared to work in a fast-paced environment, because you're literally spinning plates in every which way direction. So proof of interest. Nobody's going to give you a job because you want to join Web3. You have to prove that you're interested. And if you want to get full-time, meaningful paid employment, you're going to have to demonstrate proof of interest. So first and foremost, educate yourself, demonstrate proof of interest, so that when you're looking for that first opportunity and you're networking and you're trying to convert online relationships offline, you can show that you've demonstrated a proof of interest and that you actually want to join the space and you actually have an inherent interest in the technology. So educate yourself. I always recommend the University of Nicosia 12-week Introduction to Digital Currencies program. It's relatively high level, good introduction, good onboarding, and you have a certificate on the Bitcoin blockchain at the end of it as well, and it's completely free. And then there's obviously a whole host of Udemy courses, and if you're a QA looking to get into blockchain security, for example, you can read reports on Code Arena and various different other platforms. So build your Web3 portfolio, whether it's on GitHub, Behance, Medium, whatever. Show proof of interest, build your network, build your personal brand. Again, a friend of mine had around FTX time, had a very corporate job, didn't want to be known as the crypto guy in his office, and ultimately had an anon Twitter account, and ultimately was able to build a small personal brand on Twitter, and within 6 months was able to get a job within the crypto space. So there is ways, if you don't want to, so anon accounts are great for people that don't want to be known, I guess, and have a corporate job and don't want to ruin their reputation in their current job, looking to move into Web3. So participate in communities, DAOs, societies, start your own pet project. Again, all pretty basic stuff. Do some pro bono work. Great way to get started. Just demonstrate that proof of interest, get your foot in the door, and when you do some pro bono work, free work, for maybe an hour or two a week, for maybe a month or two, you're just getting a flavor of Web3 culture as well. And that's something that can't be read on a textbook. It has to be experienced to be believed. And follow VC money if you're looking to get that pro bono work as well. So project do a small raise, and they mightn't want a designer full-time, for example, but they might want a designer for 2 or 3 hours a week. You can reach out to the founder directly, and oftentimes they might want to speak. So various different ways and means. Participate in hackathons, and attend or organize meetups like Super Team, Balkans. I'm very impressed in speaking to those guys this week. And if you are looking to start your own pet project, Super Team, Balkans could be a great place to start. So people search, don't job hunt, be your own headhunter, especially if you're lacking experience in the industry. And again, I find that projects like to hire people who've demonstrated an interest in their ecosystem. So if you are looking to fast track your career within the blockchain tech space, I would say pick an ecosystem, whether it's Avalanche, Algorand, and identify key players in those ecosystems, because projects, again, like to hire people who've shown an active interest in their ecosystems. With that, I guess, find an ecosystem that you like, find mentors in that ecosystem, reach out to key players directly. You'll find that a lot of people are willing to help once you reach out to them. So this is what I call ecosystem targeted networking, which is very, very effective and has helped multiple people. For example, ensure each key player understands that knows that you understand the industry and the project. So, for example, if you're a community lead, you can send a one-pager or a few lines with regards to competitor strategies, and propose event IDs for onboarding new members. Yeah, and yeah, stress that you're willing to do a few hours a week pro bono just to get started. And yeah, then you have somebody internally in projects, prominent in an ecosystem, effectively advocating for you, keeping an eye open for you as well. So yeah, and a good tip as well is if when you're looking to get your first opportunity in Web3, or just looking to get your foot in the door in a Web3 project, again, think of time as a commodity. And what I mean by that is marketer in the trenches want to get out of the trenches and focus on more high-level tasks. How can you help that marketer get out of the trenches? And how can you, as an incoming person, helping out for maybe an hour or two every week, free up their workload? Simple as that. So yeah, tips for getting hired: strong social media presence, can't recommend it enough. Do a lot of shit posting myself, it's been great for my career. Resume, good clear resume, good solid portfolio, and acing your interview. Again, all very basic stuff. So yeah, for writing your resume, think like a recruiter. So yeah, you've only 5 seconds really to impress a recruiter, especially if you're at a big exchange like Kraken or Coinbase. They're probably getting about 1,000 applicants, and yeah, so realistically, they're not looking for the best candidates. They're looking to kind of remove the candidates that are less relevant. So that's just something to be aware of. Yeah, so resume tips: clear font. Don't like squinting my eyes, for example. The most important thing is have a killer hook and a brilliant 100-word executive summary. Can't emphasize that enough. If you have a double column resume as well, and think about it from a 5-second perspective, I'm wasting a second or 2 seconds looking left or right, then you've only 3 seconds left to make a good impression. So again, I don't mean to sound cruel, but if you are looking at high numbers of resumes day in, day out, again, a killer hook instantly captivate the attention of the reader, and that's where the killer hook executive summary is very effective. Accessible links. So your GitHub, your Behance portfolio, your LinkedIn should be at the very top of your resume as well, because ultimately, if you're a developer, first thing the CTO is going to do is going to look for your open source contributions, and may not even scroll down to the rest of your resume. So yeah, avoid double column resumes, as I said. Keywords are important, but just don't overkill. Consistently update your resume, no more than 2 pages. Don't go back more than 10 years. Past tense versus present tense, especially for non-English speakers. A lot of times, non-English speaking job seekers can speak in the present tense without talking about past experience. That's very embarrassing if it's a marketing candidate as well. No home addresses from a security perspective, obviously. And I would nearly say no phone numbers either. Just an email. And no photos. So, yeah, it's just basic stuff now, lads. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail in interview, like any interview. And yeah, this is especially good for people that that typically struggle in interviews. So get a list of 30 competency-based questions and practice answering them in the STAR format: situation, task, action, and result. And that will get you thinking about your previous experiences, and also it'll help you become more confident in interview processes as well. And just be honest as well in interviews, because yeah, sometimes a lot of people in crypto especially, they can speak as if it's a one-man army sometimes in what they're doing at certain projects. So yeah, I often tell companies hiring, get the story, not the glory. And yeah, competency-based questions are actually great for employers as well to kind of as a BS detector, I would say. So, okay. Yeah, interviewing is like dating. We're nearly finished, so I do appreciate you guys for sitting it out for so long. It must be difficult, but yeah. Yeah, so again, when you're interviewing for a job in Web3, oftentimes it's early stage, and you're not getting it, you're not going for a job, you're literally going to war with this person, and interviewing should be like dating effectively. So ask difficult questions. Again, as I said earlier, projects pivot, there's no job securities, projects get hacked, they get restructured all the time. So ultimately, try and find a project that you're very passionate about, obviously one that pays well, but also kind of look out for red flags as well. And where my difficult questions answered properly. So ask questions about the runway, the team, the roadmap, various different common things. Yeah, I guess diversity and inclusion is still a problem in the crypto industry, I would say, fair to say. So I've heard of candidates explaining to me, quite enraged, that they've been asked about questions like their religion, their political status, and their family status, for example, as well, which from a HR perspective is, former HR professional here, completely illegal. So yeah, that's I'd find that personally a big red flag if you're asked kind of inappropriate questions like that. And yeah, ultimately, did I get a thorough understanding of what's expected of me in the role? So a lot of times, technical founders, obviously very competent, super intelligent, but ultimately, sometimes they just don't understand what they're looking for. So try and get a roadmap from the project as well. What do you expect from me in the first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days to see if I'm actually needed? And when they can answer, if they can answer that question, great. Because likelihood is you'll be onboarded better into the project. And if they're honest and say they can't, well then at least you know that you're working with a sincere person. But if they're trying to BS you, well then, yeah, then you know. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Belgrade. Just to say as well that I've huge respect for Serbian people. I've worked with some great engineers from Serbia, especially as a headhunter over the last 4.5 years. Huge respect for you guys, super talented, and yeah. Any questions? Yeah, but thanks for sitting it out. Yeah.
Yes, we have a question over here.
Hey, Owen. Great hearing your talk. So I do have a couple of questions. So my first question would be, how do I make my application stand out in the pile of all other applications? How do I prepare for an HR interview so that the recruiter recognizes that I took out the time to prepare for the interview, and how important is a portfolio? Sorry, I know that's a lot, but I can repeat.
Yeah. It depends on the stage of the project, and it depends on obviously your level of experience. If you're coming, like say, I would say if it's, take a big exchange that is probably getting a couple of hundred applications, or maybe even 1,000+ applications per role. Try and find a hiring manager, try and skip the recruiter and say, I've seen this job application, and reach out to the person on LinkedIn. I would be potentially interested. Can we get a virtual coffee? And then you have somebody internally effectively advocating for you as a candidate. And then you're getting the recruiter interview. And yeah, doesn't always work, but could be an effective strategy. And with that as well, just basic stuff, research the company, try and understand the JD, and ultimately, yeah, offer some suggestions and tips as well. So, yeah, I don't know how to answer your question, but I hope it helps.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's cool. And how, let's say on a scale 1 to 10, how would you say how much is the portfolio important here in this case?
Absolutely, it's crucial. Yeah, good portfolio is really important.
What are the things you'd like to see there, like as a recruiter?
Yeah, so just
for, let's say, marketing position.
Marketing.
Doesn't matter.
So yeah, ultimately for social media profiles, a good presence on Twitter is it's very, very important. I can't emphasize that enough. And I often have excellent social media managers tell me that they haven't time to build their own personal Twitter account. Completely understandable, but ultimately, for hiring social media people specifically, a lot of the time the hiring manager will just look at their Twitter account, see their contributions, see where their interest areas are, and ultimately see kind of what kind of a following and engagement they get as well. So yeah, very, very important for social media in particular. And yeah, ultimately a good portfolio, previous links, previous campaigns, yeah, just a good portfolio will ultimately, again, we're working in an open source industry, so yeah, bring all your credentials to the table as well.
All right, thanks so much, and sorry for hogging the mic.
Okay, we have one more from Paula.
Yes, so my question is, there is many companies, especially small startups, that they are looking for jack of all trades, or they don't know what they're looking for, and basically they're looking for jack of all trades. So for example, head of marketing without a marketing team, so you are everything, or a DevRel, which is at the same time developing a product and doing the marketing. How do you approach companies like this when they want to hire without even knowing what they need?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and oftentimes it's a case of just exploring with the client, ultimately breaking down what are their pain points now, and ultimately helping them write a job description for themselves. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And ultimately, honestly, as well, after that, then it's a case of trial and error. So after the first 5 or 6 candidates, you get a feel of kind of what they like and what they don't like, and they kind of understand more as the process goes on as well. So oftentimes it's a case of exploration as well.
And do you think that to be successful in crypto as a career, not as a founder, but when you want just to work somewhere, you need to be a little bit of a jack of all trades?
Sorry?
Do you think that to be successful in your crypto career, you need to be a little bit of a jack of all trades?
At the moment, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, there is one more.
Hi, Owen. Thank you for the great talk. I have one question from a developer standpoint. If a developer's been working, let's say, for a while in a framework or a language, and they would like to switch to another one, it seems like quite a daunting task. Do the steps, or are the steps involved in that what you highlighted, which is starting from scratch, pro bono work, or is the transition for something like that different?
No, but I would highly encourage networking, for example, as well, and getting some more open contributions, and ultimately learning and showing your own initiative as well. So again, what I would say is like Anchor is probably substrate 4 years ago in terms of demand. So yeah, just connect with Solana founders, Solana developers, and ultimately understand a bit more about that from them, and ultimately start maybe contributing to a few projects, getting some open source repos, for example, and then the transition should be relatively seamless thereafter. And then you have your little own network within the Solana ecosystem thereafter. So like the industry from a hiring perspective can be very ecosystem myopic, for example, and with Solana especially, like a lot of devs don't like going multi-chain as well, so they like to kind of stick within their own lane.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Are there any? There is one more here. Yep, here you go.
Hey, Owen. Thank you for the great speech. I hope you don't mind me asking 2 questions about AI. The first situation, you are hiring for marketing role. You get 2 CVs. The first one, both CVs are from non-native English speakers. The first one is written. The first CV is written in wordy way, with mistakes, with some weird phrases, and the second one is polished. It looks bad, it looks good, but it is polished by ChatGPT. Which one is better?
There is no such thing as a better one. Using AI for your resume is absolutely perfectly fine, but just don't take the piss. Just use, just don't overkill on buzzwords. Still retain that authentic feel with your resume, and And when writing your resume as well, just frame, instead of writing basic duties, write about achievements instead, and that will set you up way better then for the interview, because they'll ask you, for example, this campaign did this, what was your roadmap in working on that campaign, how did you achieve that result, how did you grow this X account from 5,000 followers to 20,000 followers. So yeah, frame basic duties as achievements in many respects in your resume. But back to your question, just, like you can integrate AI, but just make sure you keep that authentic feel. And nobody likes to see spelling mistakes in resumes, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. And the second one is or short. I know that there are some teams who are using AI for automated resume screening. What's your opinion on that?
Sorry?
Some teams are using AI tools for automated resume screening. What's your opinion on that?
I can understand it to a degree if there's a lot of applications, but ultimately, it's ultimately I wouldn't be too in favor, to be honest. And we're at this point with AI that nobody really knows what's happening. For example, there's AI avatars now in some companies doing interviews, first round interviews, and it's absolutely completely crazy. I met a guy about a month ago who had 2 rounds of interviews with 2 different AI avatars, and didn't even get to speak to a human. So so again, we're at that stage with AI, and again, from an interview process as well, when a lot of people are using AI for take-home tests as well, and you can be found out very easily when doing so as well. So just use AI to help you, but as an aid, but not as an outsourcing activity. Yeah.
I see. Many thanks. Many thanks.
Thank you so much. We have 2 more minutes, so if there are any other questions. Yes, there is one more follow-up.
Hi again. One question. Could you explain a little more about why you would advise against using a photo in a CV? I see it very often. A lot of people seem to do it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, just real estate, and that's the you ultimately go back to the 5 seconds. You might be gorgeous, but I don't want to be gazing at your photo for 3 or 4 seconds. Just real estate. Like, you want the executive summary, top of your resume, that 100 words. That's the first thing I look for. So just make it a clear reader experience. So that's pretty much the reason why. And again, there could be security. Some people will tell you about privacy and whatnot. Don't really care about that, but just make the executive summary. The executive summary is really your hook. And after that, after reading the executive summary, you want the reader to keep scrolling down, and the executive summary is the passport to do so. And obviously the accessible links with it as well. So photos just take up too much real estate generally.
Anyone else? Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you once again, and one more applause for this really amazing presentation and very